This title has so much prestige behind it, you know, and I'm just very honored to be carrying the load right now. So I'm just honored to be Intercontinental Champion, and it's a great thing for me. As far as being a true champion in WWE All Stars, it's going to take a lot. Again, like I said before, it's very easy to pick up. I think it's going to be a little harder to master. You know, again, with those combination moves, I think are key to be able to master those. And you know, the good thing about it too is that if you pick a brawler or an acrobat or whatever, everyone has different styles, which is so important in a fighting game. You know, it keeps it fresh, which I think is very important. So I don't know, you got to find what you like. I'll probably stick with the acrobats and try to work it that way, but other people might go the other way. So.
Very good. And speaking of acrobats, Ricky, you're qualified and classified as an acrobat in this game as well as Kofi. So Ricky, not surprisingly, being an acrobat in WWE All Stars, you'll have a faster movement and speed than your opponents, and you'll have extremely accurate aerial moves. So what's it like to bring some of the most electric and high-flying action to the ring? And how do you feel about that in its representation in this game?
Well, you know, in watching the games, you have to know your character, the one you choose. Like Big Show gave an example, that he pushes guys down, catches guy out, pick him out of the air. So know your wrestler, know what you know, some of the things that are his strengths. But in myself, with what I did and what the guys that when I was wrestling at the time did, and these guys here have taken, like I said earlier, everything to a newer level, you know. I would think that Ricky Steamboat in his prime would have some moments, but I think in today's world, with as much as these guys do now, it would be harder for me to counter what they do, you know. In other words, they have taken the ability to do what I did so many levels above that. And to be honest with you, Kofi, it would just be hard to overcome or counter it. In my mind, the way that my game attack would be was to keep you grounded, okay? And not really try to match a flight for flight. You got me?
That's the standard game plan with Kofi anyway. You keep his feet on the ground. When he starts getting aerial ball and you start eating tennis shoes, it's not good.
Ricky, the good thing about what you're saying, it's so true. And our gamers and the people that are going to be involved in this game come March 29th are going to get that opportunity to potentially match up you against Kofi, or you against Sheamus, or you against Big Show. The matchups are endless. And that brings me to my next question. Sheamus, when you were watching the WWE back in its day with the Ricky Steamboats and the Macho Man Randy Savages and the Andre the Giants, I'm sure going through your mind other than, boy, I know I can do this someday, but I'd like to maybe match up against Ricky and see how I can fare against him. So the question is, now, as a gamer, what do you believe in the opportunity now that Sheamus can face a Ricky Steamboat?
Well, first of all, I was watching before we came out the seminar of all the matches. It was me against Bret Hart, who Ricky and Bret Hart were two big inspirations for me, especially WrestleMania 3. I know that match with Savage. In Ireland we got WWE at a later date, so I picked it up just after WrestleMania 2. And it was kind of funny just watching, like 2 years ago when I was developmental, trying to get to WWE. You know, I don't think I would have dreamed of watching the screen there with Sheamus character and the Bret Hart character online. But as I said, Ricky, Bret, all these superstars that come before me, they're the people who inspired me to follow my dream. And for me, particularly to see that, like me, Sheamus matched up against a host of superstars come before, it's a great honor. And as I said, like it's a lot of fun too. And it's a lot of fun for people out there who play the game. They get a chance to mix and match. They said. New superstars and old superstars, and have those dream matchups. The other thing I like about All Stars too is the characters. I love the way they over exaggerate the characters, like they're larger than life. They're all built up, they're bulky and stuff. I like the whole kind of animated design of the All Stars character. And as I said, I've had a chance to play today, and it's a lot of fun. I didn't want to put the remote down too, especially when I was kicking Kofi all over the ring.
I was looking for an upset back there. The gamer Kofi almost got beat.
Oh, you almost though, right? Almost.
See that?
Okay, I'm just using almost, right?
Well,
That's where he goes
for
from the Intercontinental Humble Champion to he gets behind a remote, a game remote, and he turns into like Darth Vader or something.
Well, Joe, that's the only way you can beat me on All Stars. So you know, I'm happy to accept that defeat. You know what I'm saying?
Start beating people in video games, they start getting all hostile. You know what I mean?
That's it.
It's a competitive environment.
Without a doubt. Now, Big Show, I know there's going to be a lot of comparisons made in this game. No doubt in my mind that you're truly one of the most prolific superstars that has ever appeared in WWE. But I know through the years, the fans have even come up to me. Who would win between the Big Show and the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant? And I know you've been asked that question more times than you can shake a stick at. Well, now, come March 29th, the gaming public will get that opportunity perhaps to match up the Big Show and Andre the Giant in All Stars. That being said, my question to you is, what advice would you give to someone who chooses to play as another renowned big man, namely Andre the Giant? And how do you feel about being matched up against him?
Well, geez, Howard, I need to take a memo to get all those questions. I would have to say, first of all, in any way, shape, or form in my career, if I'm even compared or mentioned the same sense with someone like Andre the Giant, it's very flattering. You know, it's hard for a superstar like me to find his niche or his group. There's only ever going to be one Andre the Giant. You know, creating a legacy of your own, which we all want to do as superstars, is make the greatest impact we can on this industry, on our fans, and leave a legacy behind, like a Ricky Steamboat left a legacy that will, you know, that no one can ever compare to. So you're always flattered when you're brought up in the same sentence. In a competition against Andre one-on-one, I don't know, Andre was a big boy. He was very, very, very talented at having a great base and a great balance. And that shows a lot in the game, too, competing against Andre. He had the strength, and he also had that wily veteranship that comes into play. I think earlier in my career, I think Andre would have handed me my lunch. I think now that I'm a little bit more seasoned, I think it would have been a nice competition and a good battle. I'd have loved to have gone one-on-one with Andre in a nice battle like that. When you're picking, I think from what I've got from the game so far, just playing around with it a little bit, when you use the bigger guys like myself and Andre in the game, I think these are more counter guys. They're not as fast as a Rock, a Ricky Steamboat, or a Kofi, but their counter moves are more devastating from what I feel, and the impact is greater. If you learn how to use the bigger character better, I think it'd be good. But there's going to be disadvantages too, because you don't have the array of offense that a Kofi, a Ricky, the Rock, the
Sheamus.
Sheamus. Yeah, I mean, some of the other guys have different things that they bring to it. You know, like Sheamus is probably his character looked like he did really well when the two characters were facing off and trading punches, hence the brawler. Kofi's character was very hard to catch in the ring. He was very quick as far as his acrobatic moves and stuff like that. But then again, my character was really good at absorbing a lot of impact and creating a lot of impact. So it just depends on the style of the gamer and which style appeals to you naturally. But I like the concept of the game because it gives different players different options to what they want to go with. And you know, once you master the game, I'm sure as the game improves in levels, as you're working your way up, I'm sure the opponents will get tougher and the skill level will get much harder. So I think it leaves an opportunity for someone to get hooked really easy on the game. At the same time, it gives a lot of room to improve and build their own stuff and move forward with it. So as a gamer, I think it's an excellent game.
Greatest legends versus the greatest superstars. The biggest, the eighth wonder of the world, the boldest. Look out! The strongest, unbelievable, the roster of all